Meet the most capable CR-V Honda has ever dreamed of. The all-new CR-V Trail Sport Hybrid. With all-terrain tires and available enhanced traction control, it's built for wherever the day takes you. Heated front seats and a heated steering wheel, ideal for winter drives and crisp early starts. And with generous cargo space, it's ready for big gear and even bigger getaways. The CR-V Trail Sport Hybrid. Learn more at honda.com/CRV.
Make your next vacation unforgettable. On Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Star of the Seas, it's everything you've loved about every family vacation you've ever been on, with mind-blowing thrills at the largest water park at sea, 7 onboard pools for every level of chill, more than 40 ways to dine and drink, and even more to enjoy at our award-winning private island, Perfect Day at Coco Cay. This is the new Star of the Seas. Click or tap the banner to find out more.
I was playing the bass this time.
Yeah, there was a moment where I thought it froze. You got me really good with the 80s sitcom stop.
80s sitcom freeze frame. Welcome, everyone, to this edition of No Credentials Required, the Saturday Brunch edition, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of the hosts, and to my right is a man who is looking really sharp this morning with his Rock Lobster shirt. Dustin Henry. Dustin, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing all right. I'm gonna go to eat at Red Lobster tonight. No, that's not.
Biscuits in, man.
Yeah, no, that's actually not what I'm doing. I figured this was. I have a pool party to go to today, family pool party. So I figured this is a perfect attire. Will all of my uncles make fun of me for wearing this in rapid succession? Probably, but I'm gonna do it. So,
anyway,
but I'm
spite,
very
spite.
But I'm very excited to be here with you this morning. I love the background. Hope you had a great 4th of July yesterday.
I did. I hope you did as well. This background is because I had my green screen up this morning, and I don't know if you can see my crown.
Oh,
I borrowed it from Lady Liberty.
Yeah.
But I was on Total Football Talk yesterday with our friend of the show, Drew Willingham. We he had an exciting announcement. He's going to bring back In or Out Sports Debate, and he's going to be sending us an invitation very, very hopefully within the next 4 to 6 weeks. So we'll be getting we line up some guests for the In or Out Sports Debate again, which will be really fun. And but we did Total Football Talk yesterday. We talked about the CFL. We talked about the NFL. Yeah, and it was a good time. I just figured, all right, grab a green screen and we'll have a nice patriotic background. All it's missing is a girl in a bikini and some guns. We're good to go. Some beers. How was your 4th, Dustin?
4th was good. I went to the Valley Cats game. Unfortunately, they fell to the Jersey Jackals. Their pitching didn't seem to have it yesterday. But the seats were fantastic. So special shout out to Derek and Katie for inviting me to that. And found out his boys really like peanuts. I don't think they'd had them before, and they were having fun shelling them and having me shelling them for him. His youngest, I'd give him a peanut, and then in his other hand, he'd have another one, and he'd just shove it out for me to de-shell. So I was doing that. I was peanut de-sheller for most of the game, but I had a great time. Did you get to see fireworks anywhere, Ryan?
I actually, yes. And I went to my brother's house yesterday, and my brother Jeremy, came down with my nephew from New Hampshire.
Oh, nice.
And brought some fireworks. We had a nice little time in the neighborhood lighting fireworks, both New York and New Hampshire licensed fireworks. So it was a good time. And we had a grand finale, but that was the New Hampshire fireworks that were the grand finale.
Oh, nice.
So, but hey, Tri-City Valley Cats sitting in second place in the Atlantic Division, the North Division in the Atlantic Conference right now. So they're 8 games behind the Quebec Capitals, but we'll definitely have to go to a Valley Cats game again this year.
For sure.
Hopefully during our break, which is coming up pretty soon. But we're gonna get started. We're gonna get things going. We're gonna bring in our boy of summer, Kevin Wilson. We've already got some comments rolling in from a particular BSer. We'll find out who it is in just a moment. But before we get into everything, we just want to remind the people watching or the people who are listening to follow us on social media. And that includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for No Credentials Required. And also check out our other podcasts and written articles at bellyupsports.com. And on the podcast side, you can subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, and after the show on the YouTube channel, our YouTube channel. And also don't forget to hit that notification bell on Twitter and on YouTube. That way you know when live shows, when we're live. You'll also know when we have show announcements, when we have clips from our show. I've been putting up our summer movie review series reviews on the YouTube channel. Because the live shows, the live show will be on the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel at 2:15 this afternoon. So if you want to watch the replay of this show, go there. But if you want to watch clips of the show, keep it here at No Credentials Required. And also, we are live again on the podcast side. Sorry, again, but on the podcast side, review, comment, 5-star rating, a review if you can. Leave a comment on Spotify. If you're watching this replay on the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel, leave a comment in the comment section. We'll read that as well. Just keep it civil, keep it cleanish, and we'll do our best to get back to you. And also, we are a live show Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern and Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, as well as sometimes a special edition of the Friday Happy Hour at 8 o'clock on certain Fridays. And we want you to contribute to the conversation. Like we've got, I'll read those comments in just a moment. But there's always a certain chime, Dustin, that I'm a little groggy this morning, still trying to wake up. But this chime always seems to pick me up and take me wherever.
I hear it in the distance, over the hills. What's that, folks?
Over the river and through the woods.
It's chime time.
All right, we're going to bring in our boy of summer and read some comments from a certain BSer. He is part of the Belly Up Sports Fantasy Sports Network. He's also part of the fantasy sports shows. He's seen the baseball and the football shows. They're on Sundays and some Mondays and Tuesdays, respectively. He's also on a contributor on the Seahawks sessions with Dustin and a certain BSer in the comments section. He is Mr. Kevin Wilson. Kevin, how are you doing today? How was your fourth?
Fourth was great. Because Dustin, you mentioned hot dogs earlier. Well, we had chili dogs. Okay.
Ooh, nice.
With some pickles, and we had some Fritos, and we had some ranch dip happening, and so that was quite good. It continues this weekend because we've got some chicken and corn on the cob getting ready to happen. And so we've got the food angles all set here, and did see some fireworks last night. Excellent. So it was an excellent day, and no finer than to be here with you fine gentlemen this morning. And I know the BSers back there somewhere, and we had a great time on Thursday. You definitely want to check that out. We talked about, Dustin, just about everything, including shark movies. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. On that show, as I said on the show, we will steer the ship anywhere, and it happens. It happens.
That's right. It certainly happened that day. We might have even been upside down for a minute. So might want to check that out. And like I said, I'm extraordinarily happy to be here.
Hey, we're happy that you're here with us. Now, I got a question for you. We talked about fireworks before we brought you on. Are fireworks legal in Texas for residents to have?
There are certain fireworks you can have, but mostly that answer is no. You can go. They've got all the kind of buildings that say fireworks, but it's a waste of time to do that because there's nothing significant, at least in my opinion, about it. So,
so much for the free state of Texas. Jeez.
Well, you can't gamble here either, so that's
again. So much for the free state of Texas.
Yeah.
We'll get to these comments in the comment section from a certain BSer. Dustin with his lobster T-shirt, and I mentioned Rock Lobster. He says, "Nice B-52 reference." Thank you.
That's right. That's right.
The crown from my background makes up for the lack of turtle wax. Well, thanks, Dan. I appreciate you making fun of my bald head as usual.
And speaking of shirtwear, Dustin.
Mm-hmm.
There it is.
Oh man!
I knew you'd appreciate that right there.
All right. Okay.
Oh, sorry, Kevin. Sorry to see you go, buddy.
Oh wow! Oh no!
I'm just kidding. Well, I wore my New York Red Bulls shirt today. I wore my jersey today, so
okay.
I thought I recognized it. I recognized it.
That's awesome. From the old collection with the old MLS logo. So. Let me see what else we got here. To quote the Hall of Famer Road Dogg Jesse James, "This is a family show." He also says he's hiding in the referring to himself, speaking in the third person here or second person. He's hiding in the corner, causing chaos and anarchy, while also being upside down and swinging in the trees.
And I wonder if he's enjoying a certain snack this morning. Probably not. It's too early. It's too early for it. So he's Dan, are you sitting down with a bagel? A bagel? We still got to have that bagel war between you and Dan.
We do.
For bagel superiority.
And I ate all my bagels I brought back from New Jersey from a couple weeks ago. James also in the comments saying R.I.P. the Metro Stars look. Yeah, they got to bring that back for some games, like a retro night or something. But we're going to discuss our primary topic for Saturday morning. We are going to discuss things happening in Major League Baseball. We had one historic thing happen this past week. I believe it was Thursday night. Clayton Kershaw becomes the third left-hander, or the fourth left-hander in Major League Baseball history to get 3,000 strikeouts. And we want to talk about this and with the greatness of Clayton Kershaw. I know there's a certain radio host in upstate New York who thoroughly dislikes Clayton Kershaw. I'm not really sure why, but Dustin's like, who would hate Clayton Kershaw?
I can't think right now.
Gaz hates Clayton Kershaw. He does. I
think I knew that.
You have to get him. You have to get him on this show so we can debate this.
Oh, we're gonna bring him back. We're gonna bring him. We need to bring him.
I'll be more than happy to discuss this.
Well. We have our friends who are radio hosts here locally in upstate New York, Jeff Levack and Tom Gazlowski. Levack is president of the Albany Firebirds, who recently won the Marina Football Crown, completing a perfect season. Which is historic for football. And Gaz was the play-by-play or color commentator for their TV. But they also host a radio show together, which I'm occasionally on, and we bring them on. They're friends of the show. I pay them their talent fee of 69 cents each to make an appearance. But we'll have to explain his. I think his hate stems from the playoffs. That basically his argument is that Clayton Kershaw is great in the regular season, but when it comes to the playoffs, he's basically the Aaron Judge of pitchers. Like he won't show up in the playoffs. But again, Kevin's here. He's a Dodgers fan. Also, Clayton Kershaw, I believe, is a Texan, if I'm not mistaken, or he's from Georgia.
He would. I don't know if he's still here, but his where he grew up is not far from where I am sitting at present, and so there was actually speculation that he might come and sign with the Texas Rangers.
Well,
of course, that did not happen.
Yeah,
and so a Dodger and from Texas. What more can there be to say about him? I understand what he's saying about the playoffs because he's not been stellar, but he has 2 rings now. And so we can bring that in for a landing just a little bit because when you look at everything, this guy is certainly one of the greatest pitchers ever to walk this earth. And you mentioned it, 4 left-handers have struck out 3,000 batters. 4, and that's all. 20 overall. And so that's a more exclusive club than the 3,000 hit club. And he will be the last pitcher to get 3,000 strikeouts.
Okay, I was going to ask you about that, Kevin, because when we were setting up topics for the show, I had yet to get anything from Ryan because I dropped the ball on that one. But I said to you, I probably want we're going to want to talk Clayton Kershaw because he's got 3,000 strikeouts and he's only the 20th guy to do it. And you emphatically said he will be the last to do it. And Ryan, since you haven't gotten a chance to talk about this, I want to ask, do you agree with Kevin's take on this?
I don't disagree, but at the same time, the way that managers manage games now is atrocious. Rather than going with a 4-man rotation, they go with a 5-man rotation, or like the Tampa Bay Rays like to do and trying to be the Savannah Bananas of Major League Baseball with their openers.
It's working for them right now, though.
I mean, it works for them, but I hate that they do that. It's like it's like the shift. It was like the shift they did back in the day when they used to shift all their infielders for left-handed batters, shift all their infielders over. And I'm glad baseball banned that because it's just a bad rule. But yeah, I mean the art of pitching, the art behind pitching is lost because you have too many guys. We talked about this a couple weeks ago with the arm struggles that all these pitchers have, having to get Tommy John and wait and miss a significant portion of their career because they're throwing the ball too hard or they're putting too much torque on their ball when they're throwing the ball. I hope you're wrong, Kevin, but you may be right.
I would hope I'm wrong too. I hope I'm wrong as well.
Yeah, we may or may not ever see a 3,000 strikeout pitcher again, but I think it comes down to the way kids are taught to throw baseballs now and managerial styles in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest reason why is the managerial style is people once there's times now where a pitcher sniffs the 6th inning and they're like, all right, got to start warming up the pen, and all these other things. And I just want to say, and then I'll let Kevin maybe expound a little more on why he believes that Kershaw will be the last. But I just want to say, I think Kershaw would have gotten even more strikeouts were it not for the back injuries. That's what makes what he's done. That's what makes what he's done even more special because he missed. Let's be honest about it. He's missed a lot of time with injury at certain periods. That back has been troublesome for him. So one, hats off to him for making it back to pitch. Secondly, you could have had more. He could have had more. That's how dominant he has been at points throughout his career.
Well, that's certainly true, especially in recent years. That back, because if you watch him and you watch his delivery, you can understand why he's had back issues because he puts a lot of torque on that when he's throwing. And but I think you're right, Dustin, because it doesn't matter what the situation is. It's the 6th inning. The team's up 8-1. The dude's thrown 78 pitches, and he still gets pulled out of the game.
Yeah.
That really, really, really gets my goat, so to speak, because that same pitcher, the next time out, he's struggling a little bit. They'll let him throw 104 pitches to get through 6 innings or 5. So what does it matter how many pitches he throws, if it's 100, if it's 7 innings or 6? If he's cruising along, I don't understand why they pull him out of the game, no matter what the situation is. And I think that's going to continue. They have such a reliance on relief pitchers now. Because you look at the box scores, teams use like 7 pitchers in a game. So that just the way that things have changed and how pitchers are managed, nobody will be able to get the innings necessary to reach any of the not, the strikeouts, wins, whatever stat you want to throw out on baseball, pitchers are not going to get the opportunity because they won't get the innings to get there.
I want to see.
So I'm looking at the active leaders right now after Clayton Kershaw for active strikeouts.
Okay,
Right,
you were on my
Clayton
wavelength.
I beat you to it.
You
I
did.
Had it up way before you did. So currently, Chris Sale has 2,528.
He was going to be my guess whether he could get to it next.
Yeah,
but he's injured right now.
Mm-hmm.
Followed by Garrett Cole, 2,251. But I know. Followed
We're
by
sad about it.
Followed by Charlie Morton with 2,131. Old. Followed by Yu Darvish.
He pitched well yesterday. Let me just throw that out there. I did not believe in him, but he pitched well against his former team yesterday.
Yep. Then followed by Yu Darvish, 2007. But again, he's had injuries as well. But he also started out in the Japan League with the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters. It's Nippon Ham. There's a dash between Nippon Ham.
That's important.
It's important because everybody thinks it's Ham Fighters, and it's like, no, we're not fighting Ham. We have no beef. Again, we have no beef with Ham. They're just the fighters. But because the company that owns the fighters is the Nippon Ham Corporation. But that stadium, though, their new stadium in Hokkaido, I want to visit it someday. It looks awesome. It looks really cool. But I remember trying to remember that. And I think it's Encon Stadium or Escon Stadium. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Escon Stadium. Escon Field. Escon Field. That's what it's called. Escon Field. It looks architecturally, it's like sports engineers are having an orgasm looking at the photos of that. Sorry, it's a family show. But let me just show you. Let me just show you real quick what it looks like. Hang on one second here.
Oh man, we're getting some visual representation.
Yeah, this is just the outside. All right. This is just the outside. Look at that retractable roof.
Well, yeah, that retractable roof is something.
That's serious right there.
Yeah.
And then the inside. This is with the roof open. This is what the stadium looks like with the roof open. That's beautiful.
Oh man, that's nice.
Yeah. So Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters. This is what it looks like with the roof closed.
Yeah, still looks good. I like that. They have the window essentially there, the huge window to let things shine through.
It reminds me a little bit of Miller Park in a way, with that big opening out there. But yeah, Nippon Ham Fighters. If you're listening, we're big fans. Send us some merch.
Yeah, merchandise. Let's get on there.
We'll be fans.
Yeah, right. And I love ham. So
I've never had Japan ham, but I'll try.
Bring it. I'll have some.
Yeah.
And James saying the Hanshin Tigers remain the most iconic NPB team. Wrong. It's the Tokyo Yomiuri Giants, aka the Yankees of NPB. All right. Next, but speaking of the Yankees, we got to figure out which fan base is more miserable right now.
Man.
Mets or the Yankees. And I saw something this morning. I saw a graphic this morning. In their last 21 games, the Yankees have lost 15 of them. They're on yet another 5-game slide. And they were, a month ago, they were in first place in the AL East. They're currently in third place. Gross.
Yeah. Yeah, this is not good.
Or they're tied for second. The Athletics said they were in third, but they're tied for second. Athletic. Get it right.
That's right.
But the Mets aren't exactly in great territory either. They're sitting a half game back of the Phillies in the standings, who have been kind of equally as in a weird wavelength.
Mm-hmm.
But the Mets have also been kind of playing terribly lately as well. So if you were in this situation, if you lived in this area, Kevin, which fan base is more miserable right now, the Mets or the Yankees?
Well, I would say it's the Yankees for simple reason was you cannot let the team that's right behind you sweep you out of a 4-game series. And you certainly need to learn how to pitch to George Springer, who personally single-handedly.
Former Tri-City Valley Cat.
Yes.
Okay, that's important to know that. And also, he's my fantasy league MVP of the week, which he made that real simple. He had 2 hits in every game against the Yankees. In all 4 games, at least, he hit 4 homers against them. And Toronto is the surprise team to me. I know we're talking about New York, but you cannot let a team like that sweep you. I know they were on the road, but come on. You've got to win at least 1 or 2 games of that series and not get embarrassed, because they were embarrassed by Toronto. That's the thing that really, they're not playing well, which, like I said, teams go through this. But when you're not playing well and not looking good all at the same time, there's an issue here.
Yeah, I mean, and a quick shout out to George Springer. He's a player I always liked him. When he was on the Astros, he was one of the better young players in the game. I remember I was very happy to draft him on my fantasy team when they called him up. He was a prospect. He is a long way from that now. George Springer's been around a long time, and he is there's no other way to slice it. He's having a renaissance season in Toronto. But what this means, Ryan, is that the Blue Jays are obviously fans of the show. Although they might not like us anymore because you predicted them to be horrible, but they are. I
lit a fire under them. That's what I did. I lit a fire.
Yes.
Actually, that brings up an impromptu update for our what you call it? The race
for the wooden spoon.
The race for the wooden spoon. Hang on, I get the element for it.
Jeez.
Hang on. Where is it? There it is.
No Credentials Required presents the race for the wooden spoon.
The Miami Marlins are in 3rd place in the NL East.
That's because that division's bad.
That division's horrible.
That's what's saving the Mets right now, is that the rest of the division around them not great.
And Toronto, who I pegged in the American League to have 100 losses, they're in 1st place in the AL East. Meanwhile, the team I should have picked, the Chicago White Sox, are 29-59, and the Los Angeles Angels are 43-44. So,
I picked them, but I did pick the Rockies, so that's working out pretty well for me.
Yeah, you're pretty safe there. So
they're sitting on 68 losses currently,
and lost to the White Sox yesterday, by the way.
Man, you gotta be bad
at home. And 40, we talked about fan bases and how teams are bad and everything. Colorado got 40-something thousand people in their stadium yesterday for a battle with the Chicago White Sox, the 2 worst teams in all of baseball, and they still got 40,000 in there.
They'll show up.
Colorado has no excuse why they're as awful as they are.
Nope, and I've talked about this. We've talked about this. I think it comes down to owner apathy, ownership apathy.
Absolutely.
That's all it comes down to. That's why Fisher couldn't get a deal in Oakland. We wouldn't pony up a bunch of money for a stadium. Which, if I'm commissioner in 2030, if I'm elected commissioner, if owners want a new stadium, they got to pony up half the money. It's only fair.
Okay, that's a good rule.
Yeah, all right,
also,
I like it.
Also, gentlemen, I want you to take a guess this is without peeking.
Mm-hmm.
The run differential for the Colorado Rockies currently.
-103.
Nope. Dustin, you got an answer?
-12.
-224.
Holy man. Okay.
Oh, I went with the actual number of runs. I was crazy.
So
you're correct, sir. -224. You are correct.
Yep. No, I had it in front of me. That's why I asked.
Okay, so in the National League, the next worst team is Washington at -77. So that shows how much more awful they've been. Over in the AL, let me pull this up. We got
Athletics
at -131, which is an absolute. Their pitching because they can hit balls in that ballpark.
Oh yeah, they
can score runs, but when you give up 8 runs per game, you're not going to win many.
Yeah, and Luis Severino has gone on record in saying basically, this team is not great, and he's probably going to be traded.
Yeah,
well, there's an article that one of our Belly Up associates wrote about him that you might want to check out. Just throw that in there.
So Eric Katz, who's was one of our premier writers at Belly Up Sports.
That's right. He's prolific and puts out so many articles, and they're all awesome. So check him out.
Yeah, but hey, look up, Yankees fans. At least you're not a White Sox fan. At least you're not a Rockies fan or an Athletics fan. Because
if they were that bad, New York would light on fire, I think.
Oh, if they were that bad, they'd be tearing down Yankee Stadium or
there would be. There would certainly be repercussions. No question about that.
My only thing is that I was tweeting during the Toronto series that they need to leave Aaron Boone in Toronto. And if Hal was anything like it, this is the one thing I miss about George Steinbrenner is that he knew he knew to take action. And it just seems like Hal just sits on his hands and waits it out. And I understand his method is a lot different from his father. God bless, rest in peace, George Steinbrenner. But I wish he would get a little more angry. I wish he would get a little bit more impatient, a little bit. I wish I would see him more just up front and just saying, look, I'm disappointed in what the team's doing right now. We need to step things up or else there's going to be consequences. And he just seems to never come out with it. He just seems more concentrated on what the bottom line is rather than the performance on the field.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, there was rumblings that Boone could be gone after last season. There were, or it might have been the season before.
Well,
it was close, and it didn't get there. And then didn't Cashman get an extension? A couple of.
I know Boone got an extension after 2023.
Then Boone's who I was thinking of, because that's the season where we thought he could be gone, and then he gets an extension. And I mean, Cashman's been there forever. Unlike a lot of Yankee fans, I don't have as big of a problem with Brian Cashman. I think Brian Cashman is not an idle general manager. He will try to make moves. Are they always the best moves? No, certainly not. But he will try to do something. But I don't know. It might be time for just a change within the Yankee organization.
Yeah, and James said you have to leave Cashman in Toronto too. Boone is, after all, his ventriloquist dummy. That's a little unfair after what Dustin said. Yeah, I think Cashman's doing his part in getting the best players available for the Yankees. The problem is Boone doesn't know how to manage. I think he's over-reliant on analytics. He doesn't have enough feel for what's going on. He doesn't have the feel of what's going on the field. And I think he also relies on his bullpen way too much as well. Like, he won't let pitchers, and we've seen this before with Garrett Cole when he was pitching with the Yankees. When he first came on board, he didn't want to be taken out of games because he knew he had the stuff going on, and then Boone would take him out after the 6th inning or the 7th inning, and it's like, let him finish the game. He's doing his thing. He knows he's in control, but he just doesn't know how to do that, or doesn't seem to know. I wouldn't say know how to do that, but he just seems to do that. He over relies on that too much. He over relies on his bullpen, and he over relies on the home run ball as opposed to just getting on base.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that 100% because now he's got a prop. Because we talked about Devin Williams, and we talked about that, and the other guy, the relief pitcher, his name's escaping me.
Luke Weaver.
Yes, Luke Weaver, before he was injured, looked fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not the case now. Neither of them are pitching well. So if you've got that problem at the back end of your bullpen, that's an issue. And that's where they're certainly going wrong right now. And, pitching.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Always. And I would argue that the Mets, while also not playing well, like I said, they're in a slightly better spot because no one's really taken off within that division. The Mets had a good enough start to where they got out, but nobody, except for the Phillies, nobody really scares you in that division. The Braves, I think we all thought they'd be better. They've scuffled. And but I will say Jerkson Profar, he's come back from suspension. They're starting to hit a little bit, but I don't see anybody in that division who can really run out in front of it. Where with Toronto, the season that they're having, they could take it easy.
And Tampa.
Yep.
Yeah,
And I was about to
Tampa.
mention Tampa.
I was ready to write off Tampa, but they're
Tampa
right.
never goes
If
away.
you do that, you're taking your life in your own hands, because Tampa has shown every single year they need to be taken seriously.
Ooh, Brent Radlinski coming from the top rope into the comments. Good to see you, Brent. I know he's managing the Lethbridge Bulls right now, so his or general managing the Lethbridge Bulls. So I know he's having a busy summer, but he decided to chime in, and great for him. He's got great points. The problem is that they just aren't that good. Volpe, DJ, etc. Situational hitting, leaving guys on base, the most in baseball. Do the Yankees scare anyone if and when they make the playoffs? I'd say no. I agree.
Yeah,
they're not dangerous.
I agree too.
They're not dangerous.
That's an interesting point he makes about Volpe, because I saw that he was like the league leader in runs left on base.
Yeah,
If he's not the league leader, he's right up there. And they called him the anti-RBI man.
He's also a liability at shortstop. I think he has 11 errors already. Which
that's
the Yankees infield defense is one of the worst in baseball right now.
Well, you've got Jazz down there as well, so that's really not helping your case.
Well, and when Jazz basically comes out, because I forgot about this, but they've got Jazz playing third.
That's
and
right.
Jazz Chisholm has come out and basically said, yeah, I shouldn't be playing third. Like, I'll play wherever they want me to play, but I've never played third, and it's not going well. Pretty much.
It's not. It's not. I'd put him at second, honestly, but
yeah.
Well, he's at second, and he'll play, and you got to give him credit. He'll play second, third, outfield.
Kevin, I'm sorry, Brent. Don't get me started on Volpe at 8:43 Mountain Standard Time.
Okay. We'll let you get a cup of coffee in before you start.
No, I don't think he's got a cup of coffee. I think he's got a beer. I think he's just straight up.
Is that what it is? Okay. Well, whatever works for him. We don't want his whole body to disintegrate at whatever time he said it was, 8:44 in Mountain. Yeah, we'll try not to provoke Brent here.
He has a franchise to general manage, so we don't want to melt him down.
That's right. We want him to have a clear understanding of when he's managing, so we'll try and keep that under control.
All right, a couple more things before I take our commercial break and then dive into our favorite athletes to weather number 49. Last night, the Astros ran it up on the Dodgers. Hold on. Ran it up on the Dodgers, 18-1. Okay. Dodgers fans,
worst loss ever at Dodger Stadium.
Hold on. I'm getting to that.
Okay, but I'm holding.
Dodgers fans.
Okay.
Down 17 are booing Jose Altuve.
Okay.
I appreciate the commitment to the bit, though.
That's right.
No, I'm sorry. Let me. Former Tri-City Valley Cat Jose Altuve. So
yes, he was. They were once the Astro affiliate.
Yes. They should bring that back. Thanks a lot, Rob Manfred.
Sure. I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, do they? I understand. You buy a ticket, you have the right to boo, you have the right to cheer. But you're down 18-1 and you're booing Jose Altuve. Why? Why?
Well, you're pretty miserable. You have to admit, you're pretty miserable if it's 18-1. First of all.
True.
So and every Dodger, including myself, are still thinking about that 2017 World Series. Although I never came down as hard on the Astros as some other people did, because I know other teams were doing something, and that's why they never exposed the Astros. Because
Boston Red Sox.
Okay,
sorry,
Boston got exposed too, but I'm saying that they were banging on trash cans, for crying out loud. You're telling me the other team didn't hear that as well, and nobody said anything? That's because they were cheating or doing something as well. But anyways, we're just disregard all that. But so it's 18-1, and you're probably had a few beers, right? A couple beers, whatever. And as long as you keep it okay and not like the jerkwad who was making fun of Ketel Marte's mother.
Yeah,
and
that's terrible.
that's stepping way over the line, right? As long as you're keeping it booing in class, I'm all with it.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine.
I guess you got to take your anger out somewhere. But, booing Altuve, I get why they're doing it. And yesterday, shout out to my buddy Derek, who had one heckle for one of the Jersey Jackals pictures. He said, "Hey, I heard you like your own Instagram posts." That one got me. So
should have ended it with "you bum." All right, and our last thing, and I'll say the last word on the whole Dodgers Altuve thing.
Do it.
Dodgers fans shouldn't be bitter because you guys won the World Series last year.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't.
Yeah.
And in 2020, even though a lot of people don't want to count that.
Asterisk.
Okay. Hey, but I still have a shirt that says World Series champions.
People did the same thing with the Lakers.
And full well if it was the Yankees that had won that 2020 World Series, you'd have a shirt too.
Oh, for sure. Hey, Kevin, I wanted, back in the day, I've told Ryan this, but real quick, when people were mad because the Seahawks at 7-9 won the NFC West and then went on to beat the New Orleans Saints because they had a home game because they won their division.
That's right.
I wanted that 7-9 NFC West division championships hat so bad.
If I could have got my hands on a hat or a shirt that's had division champion on it, I would have done that.
Yeah.
And, if somebody else doesn't like it, well, too bad.
Yep.
Not your fault that the other teams were.
Yeah. That's right.
Year.
That was terrible. That was a terrible division year.
And that set up one of the great football plays of all time.
Oh, of course. Yes.
So
my fondest memory. Get off me, he says to Tracy Porter.
That's right.
One last thing we have to discuss before we take our commercial break. Andrew McCutchen, one of our favorite players. I sent this to Dustin yesterday. So apparently every year around this time, there's I think it's called the Anthrocon.
Anthrocon. I couldn't understand it. I watched
Anthrocon.
Okay,
and it happens in Pittsburgh every year around this time. Anthrocon is a furries convention,
which I have to confess, until this morning, I've never heard of it.
So every year, and it doesn't matter which team he's with. He did it with the Giants. He did it with the Yankees. Now back with the Pirates. Around this time of year, he would go on his Twitter and tweet one word: furries. But
not even furies, furries.
But it seems that McCutchen always seems to have really good series around this time of year. Is this the baseball equivalent of Jordan Love Toronto Toyothon / Happy Honda Days Jordan Love furries convention? Andrew McCutchen.
It would certainly appear to be the case from the track record I've seen. That so if you're him, and you could certainly understand why he'd want to get involved, get on board and support this, because 9 out of 15. Well, that would make your weekends series. That'll set you up for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, up until 2000 tweets, this via Axios, and also I watched the full video on Urinating Tree, his channel. He's the one who posted it a couple nights ago. Through 2023, Hutch has played 19 home games when Anthrocon was in Pittsburgh. He's blasted 4 home runs with a .392 batting average in that span. Yes, but last year he went 1 for 11 with 3 walks and 6 strikeouts. I believe he went 3 for 4 the other day.
Okay,
home run
when it happened,
and he.
I did see that some of the people at the convention, they will wear his jersey
He'll wear
sometime
his jersey.
in a sign of support. Because I watched that video too, Ryan. Yesterday had a weird start to the day because right after I watched the intros for the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Now, unfortunately, I missed Joey Chestnut's triumphant return. He finished 70 and a half dogs, ladies and gentlemen. I was like, all right, I got to watch this video so I know what Ryan's trying to send me. And then I just let that one lie after a while. I
had to let it marinate.
Yeah.
But actually, the Pirates are on a road trip right now, so they've been shut out the last 2 games. So I had to correct myself and just make sure that I was accurate, and I was wrong. They're on a road trip and they have not scored any runs since Wednesday. So
yeah, well, and the thing is, they did it. And shout out to the CBS Fantasy Baseball Today podcast. They said this. We all know how many runs the Pirates scored in the previous series. And then you have your ace go out, Paul Skeens, and he pitches and he gets no run support. None.
Nope. No, he doesn't. He's
only the Pirates.
Because he's on my fantasy team.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't help you with wins, Kevin. I got Mitch Keller, so that's tough.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for our Saturdays with Kevin segment. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to discuss our favorite number 49s because this is episode 49 of No Credentials Required for 2025. So stick around. Stay tuned and stand by for more No Credentials Required.
This episode of No Credentials Required is brought to you by Invader Coffee. For the coffee lover who wants good, quality coffee with no bullshit and no filler, Invader Coffee is an ultra-premium, veteran-owned coffee company proudly delivering only the best coffee your hard-earned money can buy. They aim to only serve the highest quality, organic, air-roasted coffee beans sourced from free trade farms all over the world. They keep things simple. The best coffee at an affordable price in order to provide you with the value you deserve for your morning boost. 100% fair trade, 100% organic coffee beans, 100% air roasted, 100% money back guarantee. Visit invadercoffee.com, enter promo code BELLYUP at checkout, and receive 15% off your order.
That's right, folks. Invader Coffee. It's what I'm enjoying in this handy dandy tumble this morning. Listen, it's that handsome bearded man said that in that voiceover in that commercial. This is the best coffee for your hard-earned dollar. Invader Coffee, veteran-owned coffee company. If you love your company, if you love your country, and you love what the veterans are doing, you want to support this particular company. I'm drinking the Black Heart Dark Roast. It makes a great. I couldn't make it in a cold brew form because I didn't get a chance to do it last night. I was uber tired, but I've made it into a cold brew, and it's absolutely divine. This is just regular iced coffee today, but Invader Coffee, they've got a variety of flavors, a variety of blends that you can choose from, whether you like it light, dark, medium. They got all sorts of varieties for you. They've also got it in K-cup form. They've got it. You can get it ground. You can get it whole bean. I prefer whole bean because I like to grind the beans myself. But oh man, I just missed out. There was a Christmas in July Bad Santa coffee blend we missed out on.
Oh man, we missed out on it. Oh boy.
Yeah, we missed out on it, but they got a different variety of blends. They got the Breaking Case of Emergency blend, which is great. They got the Don't Cali My Texas, which is also very good. The OG blend always hits the spot.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also buy their cold brew, either in individual cans or a 12-pack, and you can also buy a bag of coffee for a deployed military member, which they go through the Move America Forward Foundation. You buy a pound of coffee or a bag of coffee for a deployed military member, because the last thing you want on the battlefield is a cup of crappy coffee.
Yes.
And Invader Coffee, they don't make crappy coffee.
They do not.
Excellent coffee. Dustin, I know you've tried it before. You tried it before you came on full time on this podcast. So.
Yes. Yes, before I was even a part of the show, I was on the Invader Coffee train here, and I have been immensely satisfied with every blend I've tried. I'm not just saying that. There are a few blends that I personally wouldn't have every day. You know, like the bacon bourbon one. That's one that I break out. That's a once in a while. But the blend that you mentioned, the OG Invader blend, that's what I'm going to have after the show because I got a little bit of a late start this morning. So I didn't have time to make coffee before the show. So I'll be making it after the show and drinking and relaxing a little bit before I go to this party. But Invader Coffee, they do the flavoring right. You don't need to put in any of the cream or sugar because the flavoring is not overwhelming and it lets the coffee shine through. And that air roasting that you talked about, Ryan, that makes a difference. And most importantly, you're going to pay a little bit more, but the coffee will get to you fast. Their customer service is always unmatched. And additionally, you can use Belly Up to save 15% off your order at checkout.
Indeed. And use our affiliate link in the description too, because it helps the show as well. And as always, Invader Coffee, you get the no credentials required seal of approval. Little puppers. All right, we're gonna wrap up our show this morning. It's gonna be an abbreviated version, no credentials required, which is not a bad thing.
No.
With our favorite athletes to wear the number 49, because this is the 49th episode of No Credentials Required. In 2025, we've been counting down, not say counting down, but counting up into our, we're paying tribute to our favorite athletes to wear the number 49, and also the number associated with, like, that corresponds with the episode. So next on Tuesday, we'll reveal number 50. I've got a feeling I know who I have as my number 50, but you'll tune in to find out. But I'm going to start with our boy of summer, Kevin Wilson. Who is your favorite athlete to wear the number 49?
Well, I was looking into this, and the top guy that came up was a New York Yankee. So I was like, well, I got two New York boys here, so that's probably not going to work out very well. But I was doing some research, and the guy that I did come across is a former Dodger, and his name's Jerry Royce. And he was a left-handed pitcher, and he pitched in 4 decades.
Wow.
4. And so I've got it right here. He won 220 games, 3.64 ERA, 1,907 strikeouts, and 2-time he was an All-Star, World Series champion. But this is the kicker for me. And on June 27th, years ago, this was my birthday, he pitched a no-hitter.
There you go. What timing?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. June 27th, 1980. He pitched a no-hitter, and the only reason why it was not a perfect game was because the shortstop, Bill Russell, made an error.
Oh.
He would have been perfect otherwise. So if you're going to pitch a no-hitter on my birthday, that puts you up at the top of my list. And he's a former Dodger, as I mentioned. So Jerry Royce is my guy to wear number 49.
All right.
Pitching in 4 decades. That's what was it? 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s?
Well, he made his debut in the late 60s.
Okay.
Like Nolan Ryan did.
Yeah.
And he pitched in the 70s, the 80s, and into the 90s.
Wow. Okay.
And so, like I said, won 220 games. So he was a quality guy, and because he was a left-hander, most likely that's why he pitched all those years. But like I said, no hitter on my birthday. You, sir, are nominated.
All right. Dustin, your favorite number 49.
All right. Well, my favorite number 49 is also a lefty, and he's also a pitcher, and he's also, in my mind, someone who I thought would pitch forever. I'm going with the one-time Seattle Mariner, one-time Philadelphia Philly, one-time St. Louis Cardinal, one-time Texas Ranger. He's had a bit of a journey around the Major League Baseball, but with that changeup, He could pitch forever. If you look at my headline, oops, I did it again. Bit of a change up. I gave a little hint. I gave a little taste of who my favorite number 49 was going to be. It's one Jamie Moyer. Now, I remember him most with his time with the Mariners and the Phillies, of course. He pitched from 1986 to 2012, so not quite forever, but I felt like he was going to be there forever. He was an all-star. He's a World Series champion. He won when he was with the Phillies. He's won the Roberto Clemente Award. He's also in the Seattle Mariners Hall of Fame. But the main thing that Jamie Moyer did for me that just makes me think about him is he pitched with one of the slowest fastballs in the entire Major League Baseball. I believe, I'm not even making this up, I believe his fastball topped out at around 84 to 87, is something like that. But that changeup was so slow that it made his fastball seem so much faster by comparison that he parlayed that into the career that he had. And I just love that. And he was one of those guys towards the end of his career. He's out there and you could see he's got gray hair. You could see everything. And he was still out there doing it. And he was doing it at a high level. And also, I always picked Jamie Moyer to anchor my pitching staff in Seattle, in Ken Griffey Jr.'s slugfest for the N64. I've talked about it many times. The game came out in 1999, I believe. It's one of my favorite games. It was either 99 or 2001. I can't remember. But I would you could do crazy things. And I'd pick the Devil Rays because they were absolute trash at that time. And I'd try to run the table with them. I'm drafting Jamie Moyer to be my ace for the Devil Rays. So I had it going. Jamie Moyer, you get the nod. You're my favorite number 49.
And it was also Brent's favorite number 49 as well. He says, but mine too. Moyer couldn't break glass with his fastball.
Exactly. Oh, man.
My favorite number 49 is also a baseball player. Is also a left-hander. But he played with the New York Yankees his entire career, his very short career. Known as Louisiana Lightning, known as Gator. That would be number 49, Ron Guidry. One of the greatest pitchers in Yankees history. His stat line doesn't look impressive when you first look at it. 170 wins, 91 losses, ERA of 3.29, 1,778 strikeouts. But he was one of those pitchers who could change a game. He won the Cy Young Award in 1983. He had 21 complete games in 1983. Wow. Yeah. In 1985, he had 22 wins. It was 22-6 in 1985. And again, he's a guy who, again, when you first look at him, you're like, he's a skinny, really, he's a real thin guy, not that tall. He was only 5'11", which is my height, but he had command, and he was also a very good fielding pitcher as well. He won 5 Gold Gloves. He was a 4-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion, 2-time ERA title winner. He won the Roberto Clemente Humanitarian Award, won the Cy Young in 1983, was also TSN's Major League Player of the Year. It doesn't show the year on Baseball Reference, but he won the Gold Glove 5 times. He was an outstanding fielder, a defensive fielder as a pitcher. And another one of those Yankees who is not in the Hall of Fame, the Baseball Hall of Fame. And I don't know why. It's not. And we talk about stats. We talk about, I don't know what kind of personality he had. Was he with the press? Was he grumpy? Was that the reason why he's not in the Hall of Fame? But this is a man who deserves to be a Hall of Famer. And again, his stats are not sexy, but he's racked up awards. He racked up titles. Was a 4-time All-Star, 2-time World Series winner. Won a Cy Young. Had 21 complete games in 1983. All those were wins. He was 21. He went 21-9 that year. And he won 25 games in 1978. So he's a 3-time 20-win winner. which you don't see anymore in baseball. Again, we talked about this towards the top of the show, but he deserves. He has his number retired. It's in Memorial Park, in Yankee Stadium. But he's one guy who definitely deserves. Again, another Yankee who deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, but he is not, which is a damn shame in my mind.
I agree with you. Shout out to Gator, but his playing years, you hit the nail on the head as to why he did not come to the forefront of my mind, because he was pitching. He pitched those complete games in 1983. I was just entering the world, so I didn't get to see as much of Gator,
No, I mean he played from 1975 to 1988.
Yeah,
and again, I'm looking at why he's not in the Hall of Fame, and it says, basically short. He only had a short peak. Career stats aren't sexy, and
well, you could say the same thing about Sandy Koufax, and he's in there.
Yeah, he's in there. He threw a perfect. I'm trying to remember if he threw a no hitter. Ron Guidry threw a no hitter.
Well, while you're checking that, one of the most impressive stats about him, because you mentioned he won 25 games. Well, he was 25-3 that year, and to this day holds the record for the best winning percentage ever in a season by a starting pitcher. Ever.
13-game winning streak in 1978.
Wow.
Incredible.
That's amazing.
Why he's not in the Hall of Fame? Oh, it's the stats. Come on. James is going with Tony Richardson and erstwhile Nick Shannon Anderson. Also, we'll go with soccer defender Miles Lewis Skelly for his number 49. All right. That's respectable. That's cool.
Okay.
All right. We're going to get out of here. But before we do that, we want to let our boy of summer let you know where you can find him. Kevin, where can people find you?
Well, you can find me pretty much all over the place. And this Thursday, Dustin and I, and of course our BSer did a Seahawks session show. That's on the Belly Up YouTube page. And Saturday, just today, as a matter of fact, I put out my fantasy baseball MVP series. It's on the Belly Up YouTube page. On Sundays, Vince and I do the fantasy baseball show. And Tuesdays, Vince, Brian, and I do the fantasy football show. And we have our rankings for fantasy football that's on the Belly Up website. I did quarterbacks. I'm going to do wide receivers. And so you definitely want to check that out. And just go up to the Belly Up page and just click around. You'll find me there.
All right. I forgot to bring this up in the chat. Dan asked, we'll say this for Tuesday. We'll say this for Tuesday because we're kind of trying to keep it short because of the holiday weekend. He was asking if the Mariners could trade for Ronald Acuna Jr. and the reports is that Acuna could be on the trading block in Atlanta. We'll talk about it on Tuesday.
Okay.
Brent says, great show, guys. Good to see you rolling. Go Yankees. Haven't given up hope yet. And
don't give up hope.
But Dan says,
But
we're going to get out of here. But before we do that, we just want to let our viewers and listeners know to find us on social media, which is at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for No Credentials Required. And also check us out. Check out our other podcasts and written articles at bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, you can subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, and after the show on our Belly Up Sport on our YouTube channel for No Credentials Required. And also hit that notification bell on Twitter and on YouTube. You know why. I don't have to explain it. You just get yourself notified. But we're going to get out of here and enjoy the rest of our weekend. So thanks for tuning in to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are presented by Belly Up Sports. For Kevin, for Dustin, I'm Ryan McCarthy. We'll be back on Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be reviewing Varsity Blues. So get your piggies, get your whipped cream bikinis on. We're going to review Varsity Blues. So thanks for tuning in, folks. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be safe. We'll be here on Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern.
Trust me, see you on Tuesday. You're going to want this life. And good morning, everybody.